Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today, I'm super excited to share with you all a very special video featuring my amazing big sister, Clara. We're going to take a trip down memory lane and reminisce about our childhood growing up together.
Hey everyone, I'm so glad to be here.
So Clara, I think it's time we shared some of our craziest childhood stories with our audience. And trust me, there are plenty of them to go around.
Oh boy, where do we even start?
Well, let's start with all the fights and arguments we used to have. I mean, we're talking epic battles over classic video games and video game consoles.
Oh yeah, I remember those days all too well. You were always so competitive, Sarah.
Hey, someone had to keep you on your toes, Clara, and let's be real, I was always the better gamer.
Oh, really? I think I can remember a few times when I totally destroyed you in Mario Kart.
Well, maybe a few times, Clara, but I'm pretty sure I still hold the title of Mario Kart champion in our household.
We'll have to have a rematch soon and settle this once and for all.
Game on, Clara! But in all seriousness, our childhood was filled with so many amazing memories, despite all the fights and arguments we had.
Absolutely. And even though we didn't always see eye to eye, we always loved and supported each other in the end.
That's so true, Clara. And speaking of supporting each other, I have to admit that I wasn't always the easiest person to get along with when we were kids.
That's an understatement, Sarah.
Hey, I'm just keeping it real, Clara. But seriously, I do regret getting physical with you sometimes and getting you in trouble for false behavior.
It's okay, Sarah. I know you didn't mean to hurt me or get me in trouble. And besides, I always knew how to stand up for myself and defend myself when necessary.
That's true, Clara. You were always a lot tougher than people gave you credit for. And I have to admit, I was always a bit jealous of you having more friends in school than me.
Oh, Sarah, you were always so focused on your own interests and hobbies that you didn't need a lot of friends to make you happy.
That's true, Clara. But still, it was hard not to feel a little left out sometimes when I saw you surrounded by all your friends.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I never meant to make you feel left out or excluded.
It's okay, Clara. I know you didn't mean to hurt my feelings. And besides, I was always happy for you and your friends. I just wished I could have been a part of it sometimes.
You were always a part of it, Sarah. You just didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Clara. And speaking of being happy for you, I have to admit that I was always a bit jealous of you having a boyfriend back in high school.
Oh, Sarah, you were always so focused on your own life and interests that you didn't need a boyfriend to make you happy.
That's true, Clara. But still, it's all hard not to feel a little left out sometimes when I saw you and your boyfriend together.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I never meant to make you feel left out or excluded.
It's okay, Clara. I know you didn't mean to hurt my feelings. And besides, I'm happy for you and your boyfriend. You two were always meant to be.
Thanks, Sarah. That means a lot coming from you.
Anyway, Clara, I think it's time we moved on to some of the more humorous stories from our childhood. Like the time I tried to reorganize your room and ended up making a huge mess that took hours to clean up.
Oh, yeah. I remember that day all too well. You were always getting into mischief, Sarah, and I have to admit it was often entertaining to watch.
Hey, someone had to keep things interesting around here. And let's be real, Clara, you were always the more responsible one, so someone had to balance things out.
That's true, Sarah. But despite all the chaos you often created, I have to admit that I always admired your creativity and energy.
Thanks, Clara. That means a lot coming from you. And speaking of creativity and energy, I think it's time we talked about some of the crazy adventures we had when we were kids.
Oh, boy, where do we even start?
Well, let's start with the time we decided to explore the woods behind our house and ended up getting lost for hours.
Oh, yeah, I remember that day all too well. We were so scared, but at the same time, it was kind of exhilarating.
Exactly. It was like we were on this huge adventure and nothing could stop us.
Yeah, until we realized we were lost and had no idea how to get back home.
Oh, details, but in all seriousness, Clara, I'm so grateful to have had you as my sister and partner in crime when we were kids.
I'm grateful too, Sarah. We may have driven each other crazy sometimes, but at the end of the day, we always loved and supported each other.
Absolutely, and I think that's something that's really important for our audience to know, that even though we may have had our differences when we were kids, we always found a way to work through them and come out stronger on the other side.
That's so true, Sarah, and I think it's something that's really valuable for people to learn, how to navigate difficult relationships and come out stronger on the other side.
Oh, Clara, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. It's really making me think about how different our lives were when we were younger. I mean, I was always the life of the party, drinking and smoking and living it up, while you were always the straight-laced, studious type, focused on getting good grades and moving your life forward.
Yeah, that's definitely true, Sarah. I was always the more responsible one, while you were always the wild child. But despite our differences, we always managed to find common ground and support each other, even when we didn't always see eye to eye.
Absolutely, Clara. And I think that's one of the things I admire most about you, your dedication to your studies and your future. I mean, you were always so focused on getting good grades and moving your life forward, while I was just trying to have a good time and enjoy the moment.
Well, Sarah, I think we both had our own strengths and weaknesses, and we both learned from each other in our own ways. And despite our differences, we always managed to find a way to work together and support each other, even when things got tough.
That's so true, Clara. And I think that's one of the things that's really helped us to maintain our relationship over the years, our ability to communicate and work through our differences, even when things get tough.
Absolutely, Sarah. And, I think that's something that's really important for our audience to know, that even though we may have had our differences when we were younger, we always found a way to work through them and come out stronger on the other side.
That's so true, Clara. And I think that's something that's really helped us to build a stronger, more resilient relationship over the years. Our ability to communicate, work through our differences, and come out stronger on the other side. Oh, Clara, I have to confess something to you. Something that I'm not particularly proud of, but something that I think is important to share. You see, many years ago, when we were still living at home together, I confessed my feelings to you.
What, Sarah? I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, it was pretty confusing for both of us, I think. But, looking back, I realized that I was just trying to process my own emotions and feelings, and unfortunately, I didn't exactly handle it in the best way possible.
Sarah, I had no idea. I mean, I remember you coming into my room that night, but I didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah, well, it was pretty confusing for both of us, I think, but looking back, I realized that I was just trying to process my own emotions and feelings, and unfortunately, I didn't exactly handle it in the best way possible.
Sarah, I appreciate your honesty, and I'm sorry that I didn't realize what was going on at the time.
Thanks, Clara. That means a lot to me, and even though it was a pretty awkward moment, I'm glad that we can talk about it now and clear the air. Oh, Clara, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. I think it's really important to clear the air and talk about what happened that night.
Yeah, I'm still trying to process everything. What exactly happened that night, Sarah?
Okay, so I was out drinking with my ex-boyfriend, Kyle Traverse. But at the time, we were just friends. We had broken up a while back, but we were still close.
Okay, got it.
So anyway, Kyle and I were out drinking, and I had way too much to drink. I was completely wasted, Clara. And in my drunken state, I started to feel all these emotions that I couldn't quite process.
What kind of emotions, Sarah?
Okay, this is gonna sound really stupid, but I started to feel these romantic feelings towards you, Clara.
Sarah,
No, Clara, please don't say anything. I know it was stupid, and I'm so sorry for even feeling that way. I was just really drunk and stupid, and I didn't know what I was feeling.
Sarah, it's okay. We all make mistakes, and we all have feelings that we can't quite explain.
Thanks, Clara. That means a lot to me. I'm just glad that we can talk about this now and clear the air. Oh, Clara, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. It's really bringing back some memories.
Yeah, I can imagine. You were always the life of the party, Sarah.
Hey, someone had to keep things interesting. But seriously, Clara, I'm a little embarrassed to admit some of the things I did back in high school.
What kind of things, Sarah?
Okay, well, I used to drink a lot, Clara, like a lot. And I would often go to parties and like sleep around.
Sarah,
I know, Clara, I'm so sorry. I was just really stupid and reckless back then. I didn't think about the consequences of my actions, and I didn't care about hurting anyone's feelings.
Sarah, we all make mistakes, and we all do things that we regret later. But what's important is that you learned from those mistakes and moved on.
Yeah, I did. And I'm so grateful to have had you as my sister, Clara. You are always the voice of reason, and I always remember to thank you for always being the voice of reason.
That's what big sisters are for, Sarah.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, I'm just glad that we can talk about this stuff now and laugh about it.
Yeah, me too, Sarah. Me too.
Well, Clara, I think that's all the embarrassing stories I have to share for today.
I'm glad, Sarah. I don't think my ears could handle much more.
Hey, don't be like that, Clara. I'm just trying to keep it real.
Yeah, well, you're definitely doing that, Sarah.
Thanks, Clara. I think...
Anytime, Sarah, anytime.
Well, that's all for today's video, everyone. Thanks for watching. And thanks to Clara for being such a great sport.
Yeah, no problem, Sarah. It's always fun to embarrass you.
Hey, watch it, Clara. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all our latest content.
And don't forget to tune in next time when Sarah will probably embarrass herself again.
Hey, Clara.